Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. And if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for listening. Today is Monday, November 27th, 2023. It's the Monday right after the Thanksgiving weekend, I guess we can say. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. This year, though, I gotta say, for some reason, I don't know if because Thanksgiving came earlier this year, 2023, but it just felt a little off. And I know I'm not the only person who feels like that because just talking to people and like watching people talk about it, specifically on TikTok, about this whole Black Friday this season, something feels different this year. I don't know what it was. Like the motivation was kind of like lacking this year. And in my case, I think the holidays and celebrating holiday has changed drastically the moment my mother got sick, and she's been sick for almost 5 years now, I think. So it was already changed for me, but this year though it's still kind of like it became more obvious that things are not like they used to be. But anyways, I really hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Like I said, it's the Monday right after Thanksgiving weekend, and I want to emphasize the day specifically because of what I'm going to speak about, right? I cannot believe, you guys, that it's been almost 10 years. It's been almost 10 years since the disappearance of the MH370 Malaysia Airlines flight that went missing in 2014. That is insane. That is going to be 10 years this March 2024. This flight that had 239 people aboard went out and never was found. 229 and 39 lives missing, disappeared in the year 2014 that we all know, even though I cannot believe, because in 2014, that's when I first opened Julissadesigns, my first business. But it's just crazy to think that these days, with all the technology that we have available for all of us, satellite, and you go on Google and you search for things and you see street addresses, and you walk into a store these days and you don't buy anything, you don't talk to anybody, and then you get home and you get an email about a promotion about something that you might have been thinking about buying in that store, and they're gonna say to us, oh, we really don't know what happened to Malaysian airline flight MH370. Like, that's crazy. It's very odd. Like, things like that don't happen this day and age because of the advanced technology that we have available. So it's very shocking to me to know that, first of all, it's going to be 10 years now in March, like I said, and that nothing came out of the investigations that they did about this flight. They say they found some debris. I don't know what year that came out when they found, I think it was 2017 that they found some debris of the plane. But this is a massive airline, massive jet carrying, like I said, 239 people. And they found like a piece of the plane. Like, that's it, just gonna poof disappear and nothing, and what's the motive, right? If there was an explosion, where are the evidence? Like, somebody knows something, and not just one person. I think a big group of people know exactly what happened with Malaysian Air Flight 3 MH370. I think there's a big I think there's something that they are not telling us and not imagining us. But like, in my case, I'm just a spectator, the public, right, looking from and as an outsider. But how heartbreaking it was looking at the images of the families, back then waiting at the airport for their family members that never came. One of the most dramatic things that anybody can experience, right? In life is, you're waiting for your loved one at the airport, and then they never come, right? And then you learn that the flight is actually missing, and then you learn that you actually never going to see that person again, the person that you were eagerly waiting for. I cannot imagine what this family went through, and then to have no answer for so many years already, to have absolutely no answer. And like I said, it is a slap in the face to see how advanced technology is these days. Like I said, you go into a store, you don't even talk to anybody, you don't buy anything, and then you get home and you get an email about a coupon about that thing that you perhaps thought about buying, that you didn't even went to look for at the store. And somehow technology is so advanced that they know exactly basically what you're thinking. You open your phone and something that you might have been thinking about comes into view. You either watching a video about somebody speaking about it, or you see an advertising about it, and then they're gonna tell us that nobody knows what happened to Malaysian Air Flight 3 MH370. It is just very strange. Everything surrounding this plane is very strange. And not trying to be a conspiracy, nothing like that. It's just you have to, in life, we need to look at things for what they are. Okay? If it doesn't make sense, guys, it's because it doesn't make sense. It's off. Something is off about this whole thing. There's a reason for everything. And sometimes I feel like, we give a lot of excuses, and we're like, oh yeah, that happened because of that. Oh, that person was like that because of this or the other. Sometimes, we have to see life for what it is and accept for what it is. Like, some people might say, well, maybe it was just an accident. Yeah, but when an accident happened, you have more evidence of an accident happening. Okay? If something happened, an explosion or something with this plane, there would have been evidence. Okay, the sea, the ocean, always whatever goes down, always, you know they know, like the Titanic, let's just say. I wasn't even going to talk about it, because it's two different type of like vessels, I guess you can say, right? You have talking about airplane, and you're talking about a you know a ship, right? Like the Titanic, right? To know that the Titanic, like they know exactly the location where the Titanic went down, and they know what happened to the people in the Titanic. Like, that's something that you have to think about, right? Titanic happened years and years and years ago, and right now, like what happened over the summer, where those people were getting there to go and see the wreckage of the Titanic. Okay, think about this. People went down over the summer. I know what happened to them. They never came back alive, but they were not the first one going down there to see the Titanic. There is evidence, there are videos that they found where the Titanic ended. Okay, and people are gonna say, oh yeah, it's different with the plane. Like, I get it, but you have to think about, how were they even able to find the Titanic and not able to find Malaysian Air Flight 370? If there was like an explosion and everything was gathered, the little debris that they found is just not enough. It's just not enough that they're not able to find it. Okay. Um, so the reason that I'm talking about this is that there is some news that happened today in Beijing, and I'm gonna read to you guys this article, right? For nearly 10 years, it says here, Jiang Hu has been searching for answers as to why the plane carrying his 70-year-old mother back from vacation in Malaysia vanished without a trace. Jean's mother was one of the 239 people on board Malaysian Air Flight 370 when it deviated from its scheduled path from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing and disappeared over the Indian Ocean. Guys, this happened March 8, 2014, almost 10 years ago. That is insane. Okay. And that's something, just by reading this reminded me that they actually changed direction. Okay, there was like a whole plan for this plane that everybody on board, well, maybe not everybody on board, that maybe we can say 90% of people on board didn't know anything about, because when flights, I don't know much about this, but I know that when there's a scheduled flight, they know, the pilots don't just get on the flight and be like, okay, let's no, they know exactly where they're going. They know exactly what road to take. They know what they're doing, right? These are people who are experts. And I understand they had a new pilot and then somebody who had a lot more experience in this flight specifically. But you have to understand that when you're hired to be responsible, I guess you can say, of so many lives, right? You're not going there to brainstorm the day of the flight. You know what you're doing, you know what the map is, you know everything. And to know that this flight changed direction basically immediately, like basically when they were like not long up in the air, they immediately changed their course where they were supposed to go. That tells you this was already planned out. It wasn't like a decision. When people have a plan, like, you know, they take action immediately. Um, and specifically something so risky like this, right? It's not like they're going back and forth and like, let's just say that they investigated the pilot so much about this flight. What I remember is like they went through everything that they have gone through, right? And what they searched on the internet days prior, who they spoke with, all of that. They investigated the pilots like up and down, right? To kind of like understand what happened here, right? And you can say one of the more experienced pilot, you can say, oh, probably he was depressed, this and that. I think from statistics, right? Um, people who are like people who go through depression, all of that, and like I said, in not this video but my other videos before, we understand that depression is a very real thing. It's a very giant thing that people take. It can take a while for people to overcome. Specifically if people are not Christians, right? They don't believe in Jesus. It can take, even if they believe in Jesus, if they don't get into fasting and prayer, it can really, depression is a very real thing, and you have to fight it by fasting and praying, and getting people to pray for you and all of that. So they were, like I said, they were investigating these pilots, right? And like you can say, oh, maybe he was just depressed, this and the other, and he wanted to do something. But like, to know that this flight changed course almost immediately the minute they got up in the air into, within flying distance, tells you that it wasn't just like a person who was dealing with something. From my point of view, I don't think this was a person who was dealing with something, because you know a lot of the times when people are sad, like, I don't want to get too deep into this subject because we're living, this during holiday time, right? And I know people have hard times during holidays and all of that, but I feel like, from statistics, I guess, reading about cases and things like that, when you are responsible, when people are sad, they don't really want to, you know, they don't want to get like a whole group of people with them. I don't know how to explain it, but like 239 people just because you're feeling down, like it doesn't make sense. And to know how this was so basically, to in my opinion, so calculated to the point that the minute they got up into, within flying distance, a normal flying distance, I guess the plane changed its course, right? Who the pilot changed the course of the plane almost immediately. It tells you this is like a mission driven type of uh, agenda that happened here. And to know that after so many years nothing has come out of this, it's just it's just unexplainable. And like I said, we have to look at things for what they are and stop making excuses for things, for people. We're always justifying people. Oh, maybe so and so did that because of that. No, like they did that because that's who they are. Like sometimes we justify so much instead of looking at things for what they are. Um, and just looking at the truth of the matter. I think something here was planned, 100% planned, thought out, and I really hope you guys. I don't know what to think about this. When it, because it's been so many years. I really hope that they find that we find. Because I want to know too. Like I'm sure a lot of people have followed this case. I want to know what happened here. What happened? Where are these people? Like who is responsible this whole flight, Malaysia Airlines flight 370. So let me continue to read here. Like I said, to this day, the fate of MH370 remains one of history's greatest aviation mysteries, and the family has never given up on their request to find answers. On Monday, like I said, this just today, the 27th of November, on Monday, Chinese court began hearing claims for compensation for families of MH370 passengers who say the disaster not only deprived them of their loved ones, but also plunged some of them into financial distress. It can take a while for somebody to go through such a dramatic event, like I said, as it is to have waited at an airport for your loved one to then find out that they're really not coming back, and then find out that their plane that they're in, perhaps you help your family like pay for that ticket. You might say, oh yeah, I asked my cousin to come visit me here and I helped her pay for that. I couldn't wait to see her, and then this happened, right? It's so dramatic. I never experienced anything like that, but I can only imagine. It's so dramatic, and I cannot imagine, like, how does somebody moves on from that, especially where there are no answers. Like when flight accidents happen, like there's closure in knowing, okay, this is what happened to them. But when you don't have closure to know, like, what do you mean the airline doesn't have an answer for us? Like, okay, the plane is missing. Like, what does that even mean? How is the plane missing? How is it in 2014? Is it missing? Like, technology is so advanced. Okay, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm thinking so much. Like, you know, like I said, they go to the moon and they find the Titanic too, and there's so much discovery, and then this plane cannot be found. What happened to this plane cannot be said yet. There's no official like conclusion to what happened to this flight. It's just so strange. So I feel like there's something else behind here that's almost like hidden from you, from all of us. Okay, so it says here, almost 10 years on, the family members who refused to accept the settlement offers did not receive an apology or a penny of compensation. In an interview with the hearing, so they're going to court. I guess they offer the family some type of settlement, and they're refusing to accept it. Now they're going to court. It says here, in fact, one of the family members says, in fact, my mood is very complicated now. There is both a sense of relief and a deep feeling of helplessness. Yen is suing Malaysia Airlines in its insurance, Boeing, and the manufacturer of the plane engine company he believes should be held responsible under the Chinese law for damage occurred during transportation. His demands include compensation, a formal apology, and the resumption of psychological assistance to the family members as well as the creation of a fund to continue search for the plane. That's probably one of the hardest thing to see, that the family is asking for them. Everybody's responsible, right? All these big companies responsible for this airline to continue the search. Continue the, like, why would you stop? Like, if you don't have an answer about something, why would you stop searching? You're not searching just for one person. Like, even if it was one person, right? You need to understand 239 lives, right? And how can a plane, like, how can a jet airline just disappear like that? Like I said, I know they search and everything, but like they found very minimum debris on this plane. It's almost like it was set up to be found, but it's a plane so big like that, and that's the little thing that you're gonna find out of it. That's why this family are not backing up, because it's not enough. It's not. Where is the rest of everything on that plane? Like, what is the rest of it? Okay, so let me just continue to read here. About 40 Chinese families are taking these companies to court with varying but largely overlapping appeals, with hearings expected to last until December 5th. And of the more than 200 people aboard the flight, 153 were Chinese nationals. It says here the complete lack of legal remedies over the past decade has made our painful life even more unbearable, says Yan, one of the family members. In a statement, they say our Malaysia Airlines says our thoughts continue to be with those who were on board MH370 and their loved ones. So so heartbreaking for these people involved, everybody involved in this, everybody involved. I cannot imagine, like I said, you're waiting so long, you're waiting at the airport for your family, and then for something so dramatic and shocking like this to happen, and then to not have answers after, so I mean, 10 years. It's going to be 10 years this March coming up. That is crazy. That's crazy that there's no answer. Okay, in this advanced technology age that we live in, to know that there is no answer yet for this family, that's the most shocking thing ever. Like I said, they go to the moon, they find the Titanic, and a plane in 2014 goes missing with 239 people on board, and they found like the smallest piece of debris ever. And they're like, okay, well, we don't have an answer to what happened to this plane. A plane that just reaches, normal flying distance and immediately changes direction, and communication is lost completely. It's almost like it's this plane, whoever was the pilot in this plane. I'm not even saying the people who were in charge that day for the plane. Who knows what could have happened? It's almost like the diversion immediately after reaching like normal flying speed and distance. The way that this plane diverted completely immediately after reaching that, approval distance. It's almost like the plan changed and it was on a mission. It's just so strange, the whole thing. So strange. And I cannot believe that I spent 10 years, like I said. And I hope that they continue to search for answers, because, technology is too advanced. Like, if I'm one of the family members, I'll be like, there's no, that's unacceptable an answer for them to be telling the families, oh yeah, we're just gonna stop the search for this. I understand, like, it's been 10 years, but um, something else is it's almost like it's being the information is being holded. You know, it's almost like the information is being holded. There's no like everything's traceable these days. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what I'm thinking about. Like I said, you go. We're not talking about an airline who's like testing new things, new technology. We're talking about an experienced airline, experienced enough to sell 239 tickets to fill this plane with human life, right? To have an experienced pilot in it, to also have a person who's not so much experienced, but you know, kind of like a co-pilot assistant, but you also have, like I said, a very experienced pilot. And they're gonna reach that normal speed limit, normal distance limit, and immediately change the direction where they were supposed to go. And they're gonna tell this family, oh yeah, the plane disappeared. We don't know what happened to it. Something is off, and we have to look at things for what they are. Okay, it's just not normal for this to happen. So I really hope that in the next couple months, even before we reach that 10-year mark in March of 2024, we get to know the real reason behind this whole disappearance of the Malaysian airline MH370 flight that happened in March of 2014. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel and for watching on YouTube. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening in the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.